everybody, and welcome to Authentic Points of View podcast. We're happy to be here, and she looks so happy, doesn't she? As well, we're happy about today's guest. Um, and it's good timing because school just started, so we're going to talk about a lot of fun things. And hopefully it'll be helpful to all of you and her and me. So she's excited about this episode as well. So please welcome Dr. Catheren Darley. She is an expert in natural sleep medicine. We could all need help with that, I'm sure. All right.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. Sleep is universal, right?
Oh, yes. So, thank you for coming. And also, how did you get started with that? Sounds so silly with sleep. Everybody has to start with sleep, but how did you get into this business and what motivated you to help people with their sleep?
Well, I've been interested since college, and at that time I noticed that there was lots of talk about nutrition and exercise, but sleep is really ignored, and sleep is part of that foundation that we all need. So I thought it would be interesting and also useful to just raise the issue of sleep as one of those foundations of health.
Absolutely. I love that. And some people don't know.
In what ways is it important to get good sleep?
Speak up.
It impacts every area of function, whether you're you want to be a good friend and have good friends, that's going to be impacted by your sleep, actually. I know that's a concern for a lot of kids and families, that we want to have good, strong friendships. And if we're not sleeping well, we're not going to be able to have those friendships because of a couple things. One is we're not going to understand other people's emotions. Like, you walk into the room, your friend looks mad. If you are sleep deprived, you're not going to know that your friend looks mad, and you're not going to be able to respond to them correctly or well. And the other thing that happens when we're not sleeping well is that we get more self-centered. So you walk into the room, you're sleep deprived. Maybe you can tell that your friend looks mad, but you don't really care because our reasoning becomes much more self-centered when we're sleep deprived. So that's a way that sleep can impact things that are important to kids, which is your friendships.
Oh, that's awesome. I never thought of it that way. So sleep is important. I am a nurse, and so a lot of us don't get enough sleep. When we come into work, where it was like something we compared with each other. Oh, I only slept 2 hours. I only slept 4 hours. I only, and it's not good, especially a prolonged amount of days. So I did a paper in college about sleep deprivation, and it is basically the same as being drunk. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I had a really bad response of like maybe 5 or 6 days of no sleep. And I was working through the night, and I had 2 small kids, and I just didn't get to sleep. And then my body just like shut down, like whoop. So in your practice, what's the first step for someone that, let's just say, has trouble falling asleep? Because there's different things: staying asleep, falling asleep. But what would be the first step if somebody has trouble falling asleep?
Well, I kind of want to back up and go even a little more foundational to that. I'll get to your question, but the first thing is, like you said, having the right number of hours. The biggest sleep problem is simply not giving yourself enough hours in bed. So for instance, teenagers need somewhere between 8 to 10 hours of sleep. teenager A maybe needs 8.5, teenager B needs 9.5, teenager C needs 10.5, different amounts for different folks. But just getting the hours in bed is really important. And that's the first place that I start, is simply scheduling enough time to sleep. And it's tough, particularly for teenagers, because their circadian rhythm shifts later. Circadian rhythm is that 24-hour pattern of when we're awake and functioning well and when we're asleep. And teenagers have the latest circadian rhythm. So they're often not sleepy until midnight or so, and then they are sleepy until 9 or 10 in the morning. But obviously, got to get up for school before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the reason why it takes teenagers so long to fall asleep, because they get into bed earlier with the intention of sleeping. They know they need the sleep. They're tired, but their circadian rhythm is just not sleepy, so they can't fall asleep for a long time.
Oh, do you have a question?
If you wake up in the middle of the night, how could you go back to sleep faster?
Yeah, the most important thing is not to pick up your phone or get on electronics. We have this hormone called melatonin. You may have heard about melatonin. Most people have. Melatonin is a substance that we produce in our body. Of course, you can also take melatonin supplements from the shelf, but our natural melatonin is called the hormone of darkness. It is high when it's dark, and so we need it to be dark. If we pick up our phone in the middle of the night and we get this burst of blue light, it tells our brain it's morning, time to wake up, and it suppresses our melatonin, which we need to sleep. So that is really important, is not to get any bright light or electronic light at night to help you fall back to sleep quickly.
So that's awesome. So I had to tell my mom about that. Actually, ironically, yesterday she asked me about melatonin, and so I said, stay off of your screen, because she will just wake up in the middle of the night and just get on her phone and watch something or whatever. And I was like, well, if you're taking it, you need to stay off. It needs to be dark. Which I didn't know that until, and this is before cell phones, really. I mean, there were cell phones, but it wasn't a big deal. My son, who is now 22, has a lot of diagnosis, and he has ADHD and what was called Asperger's and all this stuff, and he did not sleep. And so he would turn on the light in the middle of the night. So at one point they started him on melatonin, and then I didn't know until we started having appointments that it's not working, because he would just wouldn't fall asleep right away, and all of a sudden, whoop, the light is on. And so it's just not working with his natural melatonin. But
right.
Yeah. So
yeah. The other thing I'm a big fan of, I brought mine to this call, is blue blocking glasses.
Oh.
One thing that people may not realize is that the morning light, the sunlight, is much more blue, just naturally sunlight is. And then, of course, our sunset is those naturally pink, reddish hues, right? That's really calming. And in those reddish light hues at sunset, our melatonin can actually start to rise about 2 hours before bed. And, but yet nowadays we're on our computers, we're on the TV, phones, and we're getting this blue light that tells our brain it's morning, time to be awake. So a really great trick that can help, and it's shown in teenagers, it's shown in people who have insomnia to help after about 10 days, 2 weeks, is to wear blue blocking glasses. You'll see these have a very strong reddish orange lens, and they make everything look like sunset. You don't get that blue light. So if you wear these for an hour or two before bed, it tells your brain it's sunset, it's time to start switching into sleep mode, and they can really help a lot.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, where do you find them? Just like on Amazon or?
Yeah, you can get them on online retailers. I don't particularly have one brand that I want to recommend, but you do need it to be this really strong orangish red color. There's some of them that have just this yellow. That's not enough. It has to be this really orangish red color.
Cool. Have you ever seen those before, McKenna? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
So you're saying that the blue light glasses don't do as much as the red ones?
Yeah, the different manufacturers will have kind of a different look of their blue blocking glasses, and you don't want to get the ones that just look yellow. The lens looks yellow. You want ones that have this orangish red color. Yeah, the yellow's not strong enough.
Thank you. So, let's see. So with hormones and kids going into puberty and all that, I'm sure it affects a lot of things, but it affects sleep. So is there anything, I mean, you already gave us a lot of tips. So is there anything else that may be helpful for a kid that's maybe they're going through a growth spurt, or maybe it is hormones or what, but they're just having different, I want to say, sleep patterns maybe?
Yeah, so this shift in our circadian rhythm to be more night people, it's really like sometimes I feel like kids get called lazy or not disciplined. Like if they just turned off their phone at night, they'd sleep well on an earlier schedule. But it's really not true. If you look at people around the world today, even people who don't have electricity, don't have cell phones, the teenagers are the ones who will stay up later. And this research was even known in the 80s, before we had cell phones, before we had as many electronics in our homes. And so it's not just the electronics, it's really like a physiological change. And so whatever we can do to help our teenagers have a schedule that allows them, that fits their body clock, basically, and so that makes a big difference. And then other hormones, girls from the time that they start their period, they do have more sleep problems than boys do related to their cycle. So that can also be an impact, or make an impact for young girls.
Oh, well, that stinks. But
Yeah.
So are you saying like during the time of the cycle, like those days will be harder for sleep, basically? Okay.
Yeah. So could be 2 days before, 3 days, and 3 days into it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when that happens, I mean, trying to make the hours and do all that, is there anything really not, I mean, can they do anything if it's just the body and just the way that it's working, or I don't know.
Yeah, there are other things, wearing the blue blockers from 2 hours before bed is really helpful. Having a wind down routine. One of the things that I have observed with patients and even with my own daughter is that kids are really busy. And so often the first time that they have like quiet, that they can think things through and mull them over, is when they get into bed. And we don't want to train our brain that when we get into bed is the time to think things through. Bedtime should just be for sleep for kids. And so, if you have a young person or you yourself, you're getting into bed and you're thinking things through, see if you can make time earlier in the evening, like an hour before bed, turn everything off, lay out on the sofa, listen to some music, and just kind of mull over your day. Because I think we do need to think through our day. It's just impossible when we're like, go, go, go every moment.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good advice, having like a wind down. Do you have a question? Okay.
What kind of noise is the best for falling asleep? Because I know there's white noise and there's like blue noise and there's brown noise.
What's that?
Yeah. So different folks respond better to different ones. I like actually green noise, which is like nature sounds, or white noise. You want to have something that's just really calming. The 396 hertz can also be good. You can, if you just put in 396 hertz music, you can find it online too.
Yeah, I don't know which hertz I've been doing, but I have been doing my meditations at night, which is funny because my issue with sleep is like I wake up several times a night. But with the meditation, I want to meditate, but then the hertz, I've been falling asleep before I finish my meditation. I'm like, I need to do my meditation in the daytime. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even finish my minutes that I plan on doing because then I'm like, okay, well, the funny thing is that, and I'm very transparent, that I'll be, say I'm on my side holding my phone trying to do my meditation or sitting up, then all of a sudden my phone goes boop and hits the ground because I fell asleep, and then I'm like, oh, but yeah, so those really do work. Okay, one second. The white noise, the green, all those didn't really work for me, but definitely the different what is it, megahertz or meg? Is it megahertz?
I don't know.
Whatever you just said.
The 396 hertz, yeah, certain hertz. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those but I also do like, it is nature sounds with a lot because they're like meditation ones, so they have a lot of different sounds in it, but that really has helped me kind of wind down sometimes too fast, but it's it's okay.
I think that's great. I mean, if you're falling asleep, go ahead and do that. You know, I like, if people are going to have a meditation, you know, it's common, and I've had this happen myself, that I have my phone and I'm falling asleep and it falls and wakes me up. So I think if we can, having the phone like away from the bed, playing the meditation, but on a timer, so we can fall asleep and it's going to turn off by itself without us being involved. I think that's ideal.
Okay, that's a great idea. Okay, what's your question?
Okay, so whenever I go to the bathroom, like in the middle, I wake up in the middle of the night, and then I go to the bathroom, and I'm like super tired whenever I wake up. But then whenever I go back to sleep, like try to go back to sleep after I go to the bathroom and like get up, then I'm not tired anymore. How can I go back to sleep after that?
Well, wear the blue blocking glasses like as soon as you wake up before you turn the light on, because just our melatonin system is so sensitive that flash of light in the bathroom, 3 minutes or whatever long, you're not in there for very long, but that's enough light to suppress your melatonin and make it difficult to fall back to sleep. Like, one thing that really helps is to have a very, very dark bedroom, excuse me. If you can hold your hand out at arm's distance and see your fingers wiggle, that is enough light to suppress your melatonin. Like, we are talking about a very, very sensitive system. Yeah. So that's important. And then I like to have people do some kind of what I call a sleep promoting practice. This is something that you can do on your own. You don't need any tech. You get into bed and you just do one of these sleep promoting practices. Could be something like tell yourself a story, maybe a book that you read when you were a little kid, just kind of something sweet and maybe a little bit boring, the story of someone's day. They get up, they have their breakfast of oatmeal with raisins and sugar. Then they get dressed, they go outside, look at the yard, play with the dog, just something really boring. And you just start at the beginning of the story and recite it. And what that does is it keeps out any sleep disrupting thoughts, like about your homework or about your friends or about school or about your parents, whatever. So doing something like that. The other one that I really like, which is a good skill to have, is what's called progressive muscle relaxation. You start with your toes and you tighten your toes for like a count of 7, and then you let them relax, fall heavy in the bed, and you just slowly move up your muscle groups. That can be really good, especially if you're like tossing and turning or feeling mentally active. That can really help.
Oh, that's awesome. So, my son that's neurodivergent, that I think that's a good idea for somebody, like you said, that has racing thoughts, or because I'm also myself, I'm like that. So if you're just thinking about everything, it's so hard for your body to like rest and shut down. Like, and so that's a really good advice. I love that advice. Do you have another question? Okay. So I am looking at what you said. I'm so transparent. Okay. So you said that you were part of the start, or you let it start school later initiative in Seattle. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that sounds really awesome.
Yeah, so Start School Later is a national nonprofit. It's all volunteers, and I co-led the Seattle chapter. Basically, the issue is that school hours are set too early for a teenager, middle school, high school to be at school at 7 o'clock. In the 7 o'clock hour is like asking an adult to be at work in the 4 o'clock hour. Most adults do not want to be at work at 4 o'clock in the morning. That would be way too early for them. They would have a hard time getting enough sleep. So when we ask teenagers to be at school in the 7 o'clock hour, it's way too early for them. They're in that sleep state of their circadian rhythm. So the recommendation that is from the American Pediatric Association, the American Sleep Medicine Group, a whole bunch. I think it's probably about 12 different medical associations that are specially focused on sleep in teenagers. They all recommend that middle school and high school should start no earlier than 8:30 in the morning. And so you're laughing.
Oh,
What time?
I'm laughing at her because she's agreeing.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, chapters form and work with their district to shift to these evidence-based school start times. And I want to just make the point that this is not controversial science. This is absolutely, there's probably north of 250 research studies that show that teenagers do better with later school start times, with their health, with their friendships, like I talked about, with their academics, with their sports safety, with their driving safety. A bunch of health conditions are better in teenagers when they sleep at a time that's more natural for them. And I couldn't say, and I have asked colleagues to verify, is there any study that shows that students do better on an earlier schedule? And there's zero. So 0 studies showing earlier is better, over 250 showing that later is better. So it's not at all controversial, but communities are used to schools starting earlier. What we found in Seattle is that actually it was the central administrative staff of the school district who was most opposed, and they were opposed because it was going to mess up with their personal commute times. And so, yeah, when Seattle went to later school start times, teenagers slept about 35 minutes more every day, which adds up over the course of the week. They had less absences and they had a better graduation rate. So those are really important measures. Yeah. And grades are better in kids who get better sleep, more sleep. Standardized tests are better. Yeah. Absolutely want to get enough sleep for kids.
Yeah, that's really important. So I'll switch and ask you a question about, it's adults. I don't know if this is recommended in kids. A lot of my coworkers and my mom now takes magnesium glycinate at night, and it helps with their sleep. It didn't help me, but it helps almost everybody I spoke to. So, do you recommend any like supplements or anything like that? I don't, again, this is adults. I don't want to recommend anything for children. I don't know anything about that, but for adults, they say it really helps.
Yeah, so an interesting thing about magnesium, magnesium is one of, if not the most common nutrient deficiencies in America, partly because of the foods that we're choosing to eat. And so it's likely that people are deficient in magnesium. Of course, you want to always check with your personal healthcare provider about taking any supplements before you do. But that is, and magnesium is needed as a cofactor in our biochemistry, a healthy biochemistry in our bodies. So that's why it can help. It's specifically involved in some of the neurotransmitters of sleep. So helps that brain chemistry of sleep. That's the mechanism there. And there's other supplements. I'm more, many healthcare providers tend to have kind of a genre that they, or a modality that they gravitate to. I'm more interested in nutrients for sleep. And so there are several that I do recommend, but always on an individual basis.
Yeah.
So isn't it vitamin C that is like the sun gives you vitamin C?
It's actually vitamin D, and that is involved in sleep. Yeah, if you have a vitamin D deficiency, you're not going to sleep as well.
Yeah. It's just gonna...
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. Vitamin C, oranges have vitamin C, but I don't know if that's why you're thinking about vitamin C. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I remember them having an orange flavor.
They can make any flavor for supplements, sweetheart.
Oh.
But anyway, you're so funny. So, how long is your program, or when you work with clients, what's the ideal timing that it takes for them to kind of get into a great rhythm to where they might not need that sounds bad. They don't need your help, but that they're sleeping well.
Yeah, still the problem solved. In my adult patients, people often have had insomnia for 17, 18 years, and that will take some months, 3 months, sometimes 4 months to reverse so that they're sleeping well. Kids are usually quicker because they haven't had the problem for so long, and they're just more dynamic stage of life. So they can often have improvements in a month and a half or 2 months.
Wow, that's awesome. You okay? Hiccup? Do you have any questions? Oh, sorry. So, I have a question. I don't know if you would have an answer for it, but I'll just ask you a question. So, do you know people with GERD or acid reflux? Because she just reminded me of something. Yeah. So I am better, but I've had lots of issues in the past. I used to have esophagitis. So for you and your habits, getting into the habit, what do you recommend people, what time they stop eating before they sleep? Because I've heard so many different things, but and I know it's individualized as well, but what is your recommendation?
Yeah, generally you want to stop eating 3 hours before bed. There's a lot of habits that we can have that help us be more morning people, which kids and teenagers need help to be more morning people. So getting up and having breakfast within an hour helps us be more of a morning person, and stopping eating 3 hours before will help us shift earlier. Basically, when we're eating, it signals to our body that we should be awake. So you don't want to eat too close to bedtime.
That's why I'm so sleepy when school starts because I don't eat breakfast.
I keep telling you to eat breakfast. She doesn't
Yeah.
want to eat breakfast, but I tell her to, and I'll get her stuff that she likes, and she just, I don't know, she doesn't want to eat breakfast. But you should. You need the energy, and it's good for you.
And it would help you sleep better, probably.
Yeah.
I almost forgot my breakfast too.
Good. Speak up when you're talking. So let's see. What? I'm sorry. Okay. I was trying to think of my question. I think I forgot it, but that's okay. All right. Sorry. I'm just trying to think what I was gonna say. So what how did you get your name skilled sleeper? Because that's interesting.
Yeah. So basically, there's a lot of skills around sleep and information that people have. And I wish that sleep was one of those things that was taught in high school health classes, but it really isn't. And, like the information that I gave you today was a lot of like how to do it. And we just don't have enough information out there, good, solid information about how to sleep well. Like the whole thing about your bedroom should be really dark, like, black as night that you can't see your fingers wiggling. That is really useful information and it makes a huge difference. That's one of the things I hear from people all the time that they say, oh my gosh, I went through and I made my bedroom really, really dark and it is amazing. And, so that's why I want everybody to be a skilled sleeper.
Oh, speaking of sleeping, she's yawning. Sorry. That's awesome. And there's the what are they called? Blackout curtains or dark out curtains or
Yeah, blackout curtains. Uh-huh.
yeah. So when I was it was rough. So I was a nurse that went from 2 weeks of night shift to 2 weeks of day shift with a baby. And I did not sleep. And it was I had my circadian rhythm, there was none because my whole schedule was changed every 2 weeks. It was just flopped. And so I got those curtains, which it did help. But the problem is some days she would be with me. So I couldn't sleep because she was like 1 or 2 and she would just be like everywhere. I didn't want her to get hurt. And so I'm like, ah. But yeah, it was very difficult for me to go back to no matter what shift I was on, it was like I just wasn't getting enough.
Yeah.
I guess
Flip-flopping like that is just absolutely the worst. So if there's anybody in management listening, don't do that to your staff because our circadian rhythm is just not designed to switch back and forth as rapidly as that.
Yeah, thank you. So that was like 9 years ago, I think. So I don't know if they still do that where I'm in a different state now, but that was it was ridiculous and tough. And like you said, it made it hard to function with it no matter what shift I was on. It made it very hard to function. And then I thought, well, let me just go switch to only nights then. But that also was hard because I still had her little, and then I had I had 3 boys, and then she's the youngest. So it was difficult. I mean, there's days where I would get off at 7 in the morning, work a 12-hour shift, have to go take my son to get his allergy injections. Then after that, would have to take him to school. So now I've been up for who knows how long, and it was a lot on my body. And again, this is why you're the expert, but it's important for sleep because my body would shut down after so long of that. Like, it's just like it was so deprived of sleep. Just like we need enough water, we need enough, like she said, sunlight and all these things. But yeah, after a while, your body can only handle that for so long. And it's just like, nope, I'm going to force you to sleep because, I don't know. Do you have a question?
No, but I didn't something to say.
Okay. Speak up.
You have taught me not to sleep with my big light anymore because I have like the big light that's connected to like the ceiling, and then I have this other big light. Mom knows this like big lamp light, and it has like different colors of like different things. I don't know if you've seen that before, but it's like one thing connected, and then it's like different things. And I always sleep with one of them on. And so that's probably, and I can definitely see my hand. I can see my whole body. So that's probably not the best idea.
Yeah, no, think like your bedroom should be cave-like. It should be dark. It should also be cool. One of the things that I like people to think about is kind of replicate sleeping out in nature. Like if you were camping in some place that had no electricity, like as the sun goes down, the light changes and you're not getting that light, but it also gets cooler usually, right? It gets cooler at night, and it should be really cool in your bedroom. Like if you're ever waking up too hot or even sweaty, that is way too hot. You need it to be cool to help you sleep. And actually turning down the lights, turning down the thermostat 2 hours before bed makes a big difference on sleep also.
Oh, thank you. I agree. The hard part with this house is that if I set it to what's comfortable in my room, then she's freezing, and it's just regulated really weird. Like her room is in the front of the house, mine's in the back of the house, and I don't understand why that happens. But some days, like, because I also have POTS. I don't know if you know what that is. So I get overheated very easily. I get hot. Like if I'm hot at night, I will not sleep. Like that happened a few nights ago. I just was up several times a night and just couldn't sleep because I get too hot. But and also my age. So so perimenopause, that kind of stuff is in there too. So, but if I set it to where it's comfortable for me, then poor thing, her room is like an ice box, and I'm like, it's weird. I don't want to turn off her vents, so it's just hard to kind of like get it at one where everybody's comfortable kind of thing.
Right, absolutely. I think that's a pretty common problem, and you just have to do the best you can. You know, no house is ideal.
Yeah. I have a fan in my room as well, but it just isn't like, I don't know. It still doesn't make me as comfortable, I don't know. I'm different though. So I'm not like I don't know, somebody like a typical, I just have a lot of stuff going on, which I'm very blessed and grateful. So I'm not complaining about it. It's just trying to figure out like what my body needs as well, or like what's my ideal temperature even for me, like try to figure that out. But also she's talked about this several times, but if somebody has trouble like waking up and going to the bathroom, I have a syndrome also, like I have chronic dehydration. So sometimes, like right now my mouth is so dry, but I've already drank water, so it's really hard. And sometimes at night I can wake up. One night I woke up 12 times.
Oh my goodness.
Then I had to work the next day, which makes it not very fun. So I know stop eating at a certain time, but also stop drinking water. But what if it's somebody like me that really needs, like my body really needs it? What should I do? I'm just thinking.
I think you need to still drink the water, and there are sleep disorders that we adults can have, but kids can have also. One of them that actually increases our need to drink water is called obstructive sleep apnea. Basically, our airway at the back of the throat just, instead of being open, it collapses for 10 seconds or more at a time. Our diaphragm is still pumping, still trying to breathe, but it interferes with our hormones so that we need to urinate more in the night. And kids can have that. So that's something, if kids are snoring, you should get their sleep checked out because they might have obstructive sleep apnea. Unless a child has a cold, they should not be snoring at all.
You don't snore. See, I have sleep apnea, and she goes, "You have everything." I don't have everything, by the way, but I do have sleep apnea, and I'm just being honest. This is me being honest. This is not me as a nurse. Everybody that watches, I'm not a nurse while I'm talking right now. So don't do what I do. It felt like I was suffocating. So I thought that getting this CPAP would make me like sleep and it would help me, but it really didn't because I would wake up in a panic thinking I was being suffocated. So I wouldn't fall asleep very well. I couldn't stay asleep. It was really hard for me. So I ended up turning it back in and gave it back to them and was like, here you go. Now I have been losing weight, and that does help me and most people. So after I lose so many pounds, then all this will get a little bit, it will help. But so that's probably part of my issue. Thank you for telling me that because it makes 100% sense. So you're so awesome. Thank you.
I think I want to push back and just say that if you're wearing the CPAP and you feel like you're being suffocated, then something's not right with it. Like the fit's not right or the pressure's not right. Like we basically increase the pressure bit by bit until the airway is being held open by this pressurized room air. And if you're feeling suffocated, it could be that you're not having enough pressure. And that's a case to go back to the sleep doctor and say, hey, I feel suffocated. What setting is not right on this? Do I need a different fit? Do I need to go back in and get the pressure, improved, optimized? Because that's something's wrong with that if it's feeling like you're suffocating.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I did go to a few appointments. We tried a lot of different things. There's also this surgically implanted thing that I'm not going to do, but other patients have done it. The Inspire, I think it's called. So there is other options. And there is also, I'm not against CPAPs, everyone. I love it, but it just wasn't, like she said, that one, there wasn't just the right settings. And I guess I didn't give it enough time or it just freaked me out. And I was like, no, thank you. But yeah, so there's different masks that are helpful. There's the nasal pillow one. There's all different ones. There's a full face. So if you do have one, try those other options. I tried different masks as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just try other options and see, because it really does help you like have energy throughout the day. It helps you sleep. It helps you a lot of stuff. Again, I am different. And so it's okay, but I'm actually sleeping better now the last few weeks, but also I've been meditating. So like I said, I don't sleep throughout the night all the time, but one night I woke up only once in the night and I was like, woo!
Yeah.
I hit the jackpot. I was so excited. So
yeah, and not to say that CPAP is right for everybody. There are other treatments. It's that if you have obstructive sleep apnea, you want to treat it. So for some people, raising the head of their bed or sleeping upright will actually help quite a bit. For some people, you can get these dental devices that kind of pull your jaw just slightly forward, 4 millimeters, not very much, but just pulling the airway, the lower jaw forward opens up the airway. There's this Inspire. There's some medications actually that are in their final stages of clinical trials that are going to help with obstructive sleep apnea. So there are lots of options. And for children, usually what they do is they take out the tonsils and adenoids, and that solves the obstructive sleep apnea for them.
I got my tonsils out at 17, but not my adenoids, so I probably needed those out as well. But do you want to ask her a famous question? 13-year-old.
Oh. If you could go back and ask and tell your 13-year-old self something, what would it be?
If I could go back and tell my 13-year-old self something, I'd say go for it. Whatever it is, whatever I'm interested in, just go for it.
Ooh. That's awesome. Is that how you are with you said you have a daughter, correct? Is that what you said?
I do. Yep. She's in college, 22 years young.
Oh, so is that how you kind of raise hers, like go for it, that kind of thing, or?
Yeah, like try the thing that you're interested in. When we're trying something new, we're new to it. It doesn't go like we imagine, it's an adventure, but I think try it. Life is short.
Yeah, that's very true. So, all this information has been so amazing. Do you have clients or patients that are on virtual or just in your area?
Just in my area, I do have a series of courses at skilledsleeper.com, and I've got one for families and I've got one for women that goes through a woman's lifespan. So is good information for teenage girls. And then the family one talks about sleep at every age group. And so you can get your whole family's sleep tuned up. I'm also on Instagram, and I sometimes do challenges through there where we'll focus on a topic for 2 weeks and get some good information that way.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Is it just under Skilled Sleeper, the Instagram as well?
Yes.
Okay. That's really awesome. So, what was I going to ask you? I think we really touched a lot of topics. We covered a lot.
Did.
Is there anything else that's really helpful that you would like to tell anyone that you usually tell clients, or did we kind of just cover?
We covered a lot of it. For families, for kids, if you're having any daytime difficulty, look at sleep as part of the plan. Is your child getting enough hours of sleep? It's likely that they're not, because most teenagers are not. And then, do they have any sleep disorder? Do they have insomnia, or do they have obstructive sleep apnea? Because that is often overlooked in kids. And whether it's a behavioral problem or an academic problem, or like physical injuries, driving safety, any kinds of problems with making good judgment, that is all going to be influenced by sleep.
Yes. And like you said, with the friendship thing, or with anything, we could be very short-tempered if we are sleep deprived. So it's just was great advice. Like if you're going to school and you find yourself being kind of like, what? Yes.
No, I'm saying.
Oh. But yeah, if you find yourself being kind of like snippy that day, then maybe you just didn't get enough sleep, and then that night you want to try to get more rest and recognize it and go, okay, well, let me be intentional.
And people say that you woke up.
Yeah.
Bed.
Oh, she said people say that you woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Right. And anxiety, rates of anxiety are increasing in teenagers. And absolutely, if you're not getting enough sleep, you're going to be more anxious. You're going to be more anxious overall, but you're going to be more anxious even just the day directly after that poor night of sleep. So, yeah. And the last thing is just to, if you're following different sleep accounts or listening to podcasts, and you're doing all the things that people are recommending, and it's not getting you results after a good, month of trying, you're doing the blue blockers, you've made your bedroom dark and cool, you've, set your phone aside, all those different things that we talked about. If you're doing all that stuff for 4 weeks, 6 weeks at the most, and you're not getting any improvement, then that's the time to go see a sleep doctor. Like, don't wait years and years just thinking, oh, if I try harder, it'll work. You might have something going on that you need expert guidance.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for coming on. You're amazing, and your information is literally could help any age and any person. So we're so grateful for that. And yes, I thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you for spending some time with us on a Sunday. And everybody will see you next week, same time. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Take care.
Thank you so much, Dr. Darley.
You're welcome.